how disappointing is it for F1 to have such a start after all this hype? Did they do enough for those who attended? Start with you, Joey.
It's tough to say because honestly, there's been a big fumble at the beginning. This is the first time this track has existed, let alone being run for F1. There is no way to predict the amount of downforce that these cars are going to put on local roads, and a manhole cover is what slips through the cracks. That's happened at so many other tracks that we've seen, and not just street circuits, but purpose-built racetracks in the last, 5-6 years. We've seen that happen at other tracks as well. Logistics-wise, I'm forgiving a lot because it is the very first year. It is a town where just on that strip alone, there are 20-30 major businesses that all have a say and all have a stake in exactly how this plays out. I at the very beginning was very mad about where the start finish straight was. I was thinking, why is start finish straight not on the actual strip? And then I realized it's because F1 bought that land where the paddock building is. So that is a permanent structure. So they're able to have the permanent structures there that are going to last for this 10-year deal. And that is why the start finish straight is this tiny straight away from everything else. So there's a little bit of like a grain of salt every time you see a piece and realize like, oh, there is actually a lot of thought that went into this. It just did not culminate very well. Hopefully we get some good results, and hopefully the stumbling of the first few days is going to become a distant memory. But right now it's pretty painful for people who are there.
Yeah, Joey, I think you said it pretty well. Not much to add there. Obviously, for the F1 fans who are watching in, it's disappointing. But for those who attended the practice sessions and spent all that money, the thousands, hundreds of dollars on those one single day passes, and for them to only be given $200 and to only be told that you can spend it on F1 merch, like you can't. It's not $200 that you can use towards anything else, towards covering transportation costs or whatever. But I think that obviously it's a huge disappointment to Formula One fans, especially the American audience, which I know we'll talk about later as well. But also, as Joey said, you at first it's very angering to think about, but afterwards, when you think about all the thought that's been put into the race and logistically speaking, how hard it was to set this up, you sort of do realize that it's not really their fault. It was something that was out of their control. So you can't be too overly critical of it when you're looking at the situation.
Yeah, I won't add too much because I know we're going to get into the follow-up and can Formula One recover from this if we have a good race? That's a couple of questions from now, so I'll save that for a little bit later. But I want to touch on this $200 voucher just for a second. People talk all the time about how ridiculously expensive Formula One merch is. I don't know, $200 might get you one, maybe two hats, might get you a polo. I mean, it's a slap in the face. It's an insult to everybody that waited hours for FP2 to start, and then right before it was about to start was told, hey, you've got to clear out the grandstands. Our staffers are pushing up against overtime hours. We're not going to be able to have security in place. You've got to leave. It's got to be behind closed doors. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then to add insult to injury, this is a Las Vegas Grand Prix official store. It's not like the Formula One official store. It's the Las Vegas Grand Prix store. It's online, and you have to still pay for shipping out of pocket. I mean, it almost feels like it's such a minimal effort. Maybe it would have been better if they had just been stoic and not done anything at all. I mean, that's how insulting this is for the people that paid literally thousands of dollars in some cases to travel to Las Vegas, to come here to see this race, and to be greeted with 8 minutes of practice and wait hours in the middle of the night to be treated like this is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, Ben, totally agree with you, and I encourage you all to go read Jeff Gluck's article on the Athletic. Jeff Gluck spoke to 3 race fans who were attending the day one practice session, how they felt, and one of the biggest things I was able to take away from that is that those people, although it is just for one day, they worked very hard for their money to make this one trip while they couldn't afford to to stay all 3 days. Just one will, just be satisfying enough. And for them to, work very hard at their day job to save up money for this big trip just to see F1 cars on track and to be treated this way, it was a giant slap in the face. And I really feel for those folks. And as Joy and Isha were saying, I guess you do have to kind of forgive it, forgive some, since this is their very first time, because we've seen times in the past when Formula One, other races here, they've gone to street circuits on debut, and things didn't work out well, and they learned from their mistakes, and then it was smooth sailing after that. So for the sake of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, I really hope they're able to learn from everything that went wrong, and they're able to recover from this. And in regards to the loose water valve hole, it's I think it's totally unacceptable that you allow this to happen, because they have to do a track inspection, and I have no idea how this was missed. And in Formula One statement, they said it was a single water valve hole cover, but if you follow a lot of reporting in the media, there were about like 20, 30 that were unsecured. And on a street circuit, when the FI is doing these track inspections, this stuff needs to be caught beforehand, not during a free practice session when Carlos Sainz and Ferrari, are experiencing the worst of it. Yeah, so like I was saying, I just really hope that Formula One is able to learn from this major blunder. I have no idea how this track was allowed to pass inspection, and I'm sure they're going to be getting to the bottom of this. And I know a lot of people out there, it's no secret. Some people want to see this event fail because they don't like it at all, but I'm not that way. I want to see the Las Vegas Grand Prix succeed. I want it to become a staple on the American motorsports calendar. And while Formula One did not get off to a good start, I thought day two, once we got away from some of the fallout from day one, I thought day two went relatively well. With the full free practice 3, an exciting qualifying session. I thought that's exactly what Formula One needed after all of the chaos and drama that happened on day one. And we're on day 3 now, the final day of this 3-day event, Las Vegas Grand Prix. Sure, Formula One is hoping that they get a good show tonight.